last segment today is Spider-Man Homecoming, which is the Sony Pictures, but Marvel characters are going to be in it. Third reboot of Spider-Man now, right?
Yeah. The third try, basically. Here we go again. So, I mean, the very first thing that they need to do is the opposite of what Batman versus Superman did. Don't show me the damn origin. Like, we know how Spider-Man gets his powers. We know Uncle Ben dies. We better come into this universe or into this film after those events happen. So, like Batman versus Superman got bogged down with, okay, you're showing me Batman, his parents dying at the beginning of the movie, and then you're showing it to me again when Batman and Superman are both screaming Martha. Like, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I know what you're doing. So, Spider-Man Homecoming, it looks like, just based on the logo that they've come out with, which I'm going to put up here in a second.
A return to the classic.
A return to the classic, and a return to teenage Parker and everything that makes that character tick.
Have they come out and said it will be before or after, timeline-wise, Civil War?
It should be after Civil War.
Okay, then they should absolutely not.
Correct, because if he's already Spider-Man.
If he's already Spider-Man, then there's no need to go and redo the origin story.
Yeah, they specifically said actually that Spider-Man and Black Panther are both going to be in media res.
Oh, okay.
Which is the characters are just going to exist, and it's going to make a lot of assumptions about for the audience that the backstories are just kind of known.
Right.
And so let's talk about quickly that Michael Keaton was cast as a bad guy.
No, they just dropped that. He just fell out of it. Yeah.
Well,
Okay. They just dropped it. No. So, we're gonna keep going with it. Yeah. So he wasn't running for a bad guy, and then he just recently fell out of the early talks for it. But as a result, who do you think they're casting? If Michael Keaton is the bad guy, was the bad guy, if someone of that age and of, just his form, who do you think it is?
I mean, he could pull off a Norman Osborn.
Right. You think that they're going to go to that well?
Oh, who's the comic book bad guy?
Yeah.
The fan theory I saw was Vulture, and it works out perfect.
I think Vulture is perfect for it.
Yeah, so Vulture is a super classic Spider-Man bad guy. I think he was a member of the Sinister Six, the
original one. Yep.
So, and he's, my Spider-Man lore is shaky. He's a flying guy that sucks youth out of people, right?
Yes, basically. So he's an older guy. He has a flying suit that what it does is it sucks the youth out of other people, which can either kill them. It's killed them in the past. It's made them super old in the past. It just depends on which version you're going with here.
Okay.
And he's usually a guy who's been shunted by Osborn and Oscorp. So he worked for them developing the tech for the Vulture suit or whatever, and then they stole it from him.
Or it
exactly.
fused to him or something.
Exactly.
And usually it's, if I was back in my day, if I had what I knew now back when I was 20 years younger, I'd give you what for? I'm like, I'll just put on my own suit.
Yes.
Look at that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go film critic nerd here for a second. It looks like they're setting up some juxtaposition then, because this new Peter Parker is 15 years old, and the plan is to age him through high school through 3 movies.
Right.
Including 4 movies if you include the Avengers.
Right. I hope that they don't. I hope that they keep him in high school. I mean, that might mean they have to recast him every 3 movies or whatever, but that's when Peter Parker is interesting. He's not as interesting when you put him out in where he's a Daily Bugle photographer and he's a teacher and he's doing all these things what he is now in the comics. His great stuff is when he's going through classes, trying to juggle homework and photography.
You can still do the freshman, sophomore year of college and keep that.
But the cast of characters that you can include, with Flash Thompson, Liz, Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane,
Sony's still
Kong,
wanting to do the Venom movie, so it'd be a good way to reintroduce Flash Thompson.
So that's one of the things that I want to point out. The logo that we've got here, but technical difficulties, we'll have it up on the full screen in the edit. But Spider-Man Homecoming logo, compared to other Spider-Man logos, is more a return to classic, but it also looks a lot like the original Spider-Man logo, and more particularly the Spectacular Spider-Man logo, which was an amazing cartoon from 2008.
That's not the one I remember then.
Yeah, no, it was
fantastic.
It was the best Spider-Man interpretation I've ever seen, and that's coming from me, which is pretty big.
You're a fanboy.
Yeah, so What it deals with, Peter Parker dealing, being in high school, and he's got a love triangle he's going through, and well, not really, it's not a love triangle, it's more just he doesn't understand the love relationship with Gwen Stacy is there, and
Mary
they're
Jane's
best
there
friends.
too.
Yeah, so
Well,
there's a whole thing.
The one woman they cast is going to be the one who turns out to be the Mexican lawyer in
Right. They haven't confirmed who she is yet.
Yeah, but
Sure, the speculation is.
and pretty grounded speculation. These aren't educated guesses.
Sure.
But these are very
Educated guesses, yeah.
There's also, and I don't know why my brain doesn't come to it sooner, since you want it to be kept in high school, you don't have to recast him. You have Miles Morales.
Right.
So,
He could age out of high school, and then you can bring in Miles.
yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I don't want it to be the Vulture, though.
you might not have a choice.
I don't have a say in the matter. But I just don't see how that one villain can carry a movie.
Sure.
Norman
I
Osborn.
get that.
Yeah,
Villains don't carry Marvel movies.
Correct. That's what I was going to
Yeah.
say. So when has there been a good Marvel villain? There has not been yet.
Kingpin.
Except for in their
Yeah.
Netflix series, sure. So Kingpin and the Purple Man and Punisher, have been fantastic villains in Daredevil and Jessica Jones. But there hasn't been a good movie villain. I enjoyed Spader's Ultron,
Yeah.
but it wasn't.
I think most of their villains have been enjoyable.
Right, but there haven't been good characters overall.
Yeah,
you know?
and they haven't been. The scripts just haven't been built around them.
Right, it's more. It's just like in the
Well,
Marvel universe. The conflict is generally between the heroes.
Yeah. Well, that's why I don't want the Vulture for Spider-Man. Spider-Man tends to be the exception to the rule, because with all the Marvel movies,
That's true.
you need to introduce the characters to the audience.
That's why Spider-Man 2
you don't
was
need
so
to.
good, because Doc Ock was such a great villain.
Yeah. Which is why I said Michael Keaton is Doc Ock,
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I could definitely see that.
especially because Doc Ock's coming back in the comics.
Right.
It'd be a good push to put him into the movie role.
Sure.
And plus, he was the last good villain they had outside of Osborn in the first Spider-Man movie.
I read something about Mysterio too. They want to put in there.
That was for
Well,
Spider-Man
was
4,
that
and,
for-
yeah,
Well,
and
before the
the
Amazing
Sony
Spider-Man.
exec-
He's a
had
cool
said-
villain.
A Sony exec had said that the villain from this new Spider-Man would not have appeared in a previous Spider-Man
Okay.
movie.
Okay.
So that's why Vulture and Mysterio were they're two of the more famous.
How about Chameleon?
Chameleon would be a good one too.
Yeah.
Craven the Hunter.
Craven
and
Hunter.
Craven is another one because an older Michael
Sure.
Keaton looks like the comic book drawing of an older Craven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was her name? Was it Silver Fox? She was like a Russian spy, occasionally friend of,
Yeah.
occasionally tried to kill Spider-Man, something like that. There's also the whole thing with the Black Cat, which would be interesting.
Yeah, Felicia Hardy would be a great character for that as well. So there's so much that they can do, and I'm really looking forward to it. Just because I felt like after Spider-Man 2, well, personally, I don't even like Raimi's Spider-Man's films, to be honest with you, but because I don't
Excuse me?
like Raimi's Spider-Man films. I'm sorry. Number one, I don't like Raimi because I don't like his directing style.
Excuse me?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Apologizing again. So, the first Spider-Man from Raimi, too predictable. Like, it felt like, okay, this is what we have to do because it's a Spider-Man movie.
Again, you're also doing it from someone who's like Spider-Man.
Correct. This is, just my opinion. Spider-Man 2 was the great thing was Doc Ock, but I hated Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man.
I don't argue
And then
that.
Spider-Man 3.
Tobey Maguire was cast to be a perfect Peter Parker,
Right.
but then he put the mask on.
And it just wasn't believable.
No. Like, you're supposed to be a smartass.
I'm really actually sad about Andrew Garfield not being able to
Yeah,
reprise
I
the
thought
role.
he was a great Spider. Like,
He was great.
it's
Yeah.
why when you said Sony exec said that it won't be like, no, shut up, Sony. You're the reason why Amazing Spider-Man 2 failed.
Yeah.
Because you're like, no, you need to have this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy. It's like, no, just focus on the first one work.
They were trying to world or universe build, and that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Can we 1 sec? Can we talk about this logo really quick?
Sure.
Look,
It's all sleek and clean, and
Sure.
I'm sure people will love to
when I
see it.
saw it, yeah, they will. When I saw it, I was like, oh, that's a fake logo. Like some kid did this in Photoshop, and like,
It took 5 minutes.
yeah.
Someone got a B.
And then I was like, Homecoming. Well, it makes sense. High school, I guess. Homecoming, and plus he's coming home to Marvel. Like, I get it. It's a play on it. But then I was like, why did we put this circle with a splat in coming? Why did we do that?
See, I thought for a second we'd be going one way.
We took it in another direction.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, you know, the show's called, you know, DPs. Yeah. No innuendos here.
Going on a dick joke?